Uh, Joyce. Joyce was the horse whisperer. She got
Horse
along
whisperer.
with animals, and that's no reflection on you, Fred. But she really liked animals, and you know that because you've been buying a lot of feed for a lot of years. But she got along with the horses on the farm, uh, and all I did is learn to swear at them when they were pulling me all over the place and jerking and stuff like that. But what I remember most about Joyce was she had awful bad luck. She she and I'd be together, and I'd farm kids, you didn't have a lot of toys to play with. I'd throw a stick or a stone or a piece of coal up in the air, and she'd walk under it. And I don't know how many times I bonked her on the head with something, and it wasn't intentional, sis. It just happened. But I think it was just a string of bad luck that either I had or you had, because sometimes I got punished for it. Uh, None of it was intentional, sis.
How about Bonnie?
Sweet Bonnie. She uh, was the. I never knew Bonnie to cause any problem for anybody when she was growing up, and she was a sweet little thing, and you could take her places. I used to take her when I'd go see my girlfriends, and I'd take Donnie too, but she'd be so prim and proper and just a sweet kid. My mom said that she didn't want to raise a spoiled brat when Bonnie was born, so uh, uh, but Bonnie was just almost unspoilable. We could. She just had a good personality. Still does. You're lucky, Jeff.
How about Dawn?
Yeah, Dawn. The summer I left, I remember being down in the store and helping unload produce from a truck that came out of Wheeling. And the guy had a black uh, uh, helper, and he and I were unloading the groceries. And I was under the canopy, and Don was in an upstairs window, and he was only been about two, maybe two and a half. He's standing in the upstairs window, yelling, "Hey, nigger!" And then he disappeared. And a few minutes later, he came back, "Hey, nigger!" And I knew who it was. I go up, I apologized to the guy and went upstairs, and then put a stop to it. And I don't know what I did to him. Probably locked him in the bathroom or something, which might account for some of his problems that he had through the years. You had your troubles with Don. I remember you two arguing like 10-year-olds when he was sharing a room with you because he wouldn't pick up his clothes or something. And I remember telling Don, I said, "Don, he's only 10 years old. But why are you arguing with him?" You know, but you gave him hell, I can remember.
I could argue with a brick wall, so
Yeah, you're a
Don didn't have a chance.
You're a Thacker.
Wasn't there a story about Jim where he got uh, pantsed
Oh,
by his buddies?
yeah, and he was walking home from somewhere out in the country, or I don't know, maybe might have been with the guys and ticked them off or something. But anyway, they pantsed him. And Jim had kind of a smart mouth on him. And they took his pants off of him, and Ed came along a little later, and there's Jim going down the highway in his shorts. So he picked Jim up in the old Model A, and they went out to the Bloody Bucket, which was the only bar on the hill, to get his pants back. And they got his pants, and Jim put them on. He started out the door, and he started smacking his pockets and said, "Well, where's my money? I had $8." So these guys felt sorry for him. They thought they dumped his money out. So they took up a collection, and he put the money in his pocket and went outside and told Ed to start the car up and leave the door open. But And he went back and opened the door and yelled inside, "Ha ha ha! You sons of bitches! I didn't have any money." And they took off for home.
What about Dick Moquin? He's a good friend of yours.
Oh yeah.
You have any stories to share with anybody about Dick?
Yeah, Dick and I put a V8 in his Toyota, a Chevy V8, and one thing we didn't know was when you do that, the V8 sticks farther back or mounts farther back than the six-cylinder did, and so you have to put the short. There's two drive shafts because four-wheel drive. There's a long one in front and a shorter one in the back. Well, we put it together with a long one with the short one in the front instead of the long one in the front. And that meant we had to cut a hole in the floorboards and build a little thing around the back end of the V8 so it would fit in there. And after we got all done, someone on the hill told us, all you had to do was change the drive shafts from front to back. And we felt kind of dumb about that. And then there was roof incidents. I bought a roofing hatchet in L.A., and I guess Dick bought his in, I don't know, Outer Mongolia or somewhere. And the roofing hatchets have a mark on it, so that when you lay the roofing tile or asphalt down, you use that notch in the hammer. And mine was a millimeter off or something like that. And Dick insisted that everything be straight. And I took him all over town and driving all around, pointing out roofs and showing him how all roofs weren't straight. But it couldn't convince him. He was a perfectionist, and so I had to keep guessing all the time we were putting the roof on to try and line mine up with his instead of with my hammer, so they'd be, or my hatchet, so they'd be even. But he had a pretty even roof when he was done. But yeah, Dick was a good friend and got me into that building up on the hill for almost nothing, and I made money off of that. Dick was good at making money.
What about Pat? You got any funny stories? Share about Pat? Other than Joanne's lemon pie?
Well, Pat and I drank a little bit, and sometimes Pat went out with other guys and drank. And Pat has a real good mind on him. He likes to philosophize, and he went to college and all that sort of stuff. He came home one night. He'd been out drinking with these buddies that were philosophers and deep thinkers, and he said he'd come in plastered and telling me, well, we were discussing time and space consortiums, and I said something that you wouldn't understand. Well, normally he wouldn't talk down to me when he was drinking, And I said, yeah, I understand time and space. I'm from West Virginia. I said, you don't waste my time and you don't get in my space. It shut him up. He went and slept it off. I don't know whether he still remembers it or not. But Pat was a good friend. Could teach anything. If he had he'd get 2 hours ahead of the students, and he'd teach for a week. If he had a 2-hour jump on the students. And that's the truth. He was a heck of a teacher.
So, share with me your father's attitude toward life and how that affected you.
Well, Dad was a salesman, and he couldn't understand why someone wouldn't want to be a salesman. And, you know, I worked in the store sometimes 60 hours a week while I was going to school. And definitely in the summertime that long. But he didn't understand why I didn't want any part of that, you know, why I spent 6 months telling him, are you ready to sign? Because I was only 17 when I went in the Marine Corps. Are you ready to sign the papers? And then I duck because he was swinging. He finally broke him down, and he signed. Signed for me, and I left that summer that I graduated. He didn't understand why I wouldn't want to stay there and sell people stuff. But, he told me, he said, well, you got to sell. The produce people must start at the bottom of the box with the rottenest fruit, and they build up. And so you see the good stuff on the top. By the time you get to the bottom, it's, you know, really bad. And he said, you got to sell the bottom of the box as well as the top of the box because they sold it to me.
Yeah. What about Mom's friend, Vicky Lamers? What do you remember most about Vicky?
Oh, runny pumpkin pie. I know that Vicky and your mom got along most of the time, but they had their outs at times. And Vicky was a good friend to your mom, and a good friend to us. She helped with Jeff. She was Jeff's speech teacher, and Vicky was just real easy to tease. And poor lady, I did tease her a lot. You know, she came and went to lunch with Betty and I down here. And, I don't know what year that was. We were here, so it was in the early 2000s or something like that that she came down and went to lunch with before she went back to live with her folks until she passed away.
Yeah.
She had a, you know, she had a tough end. Vicky did. She was sick with it was a brain tumor on it.
I don't remember what it was.
But she was up when she came here. We had a pretty good time, although she had some of Vicky's weird ideas she never seemed to get rid of.
What about Larry Kaplinger?
Yeah, well, Larry's the
He used to always call you Charlie.
salt of the earth. Says he, you know, I always used to tease him that his state was named after our river. Ohio River is the border for Ohio is not on the West Virginia side. The West Virginia border is on the Ohio side of the Ohio River when it runs through along West Virginia. And I used to kid him about that. Larry was a good telephone man. Probably made more dial tone than I did. And we rode up down the hill for a long time. His politics sucked, but other than that, he was okay. And got a lot of free coffee at Larry's place. Sandy was always willing to give me coffee in the morning, and he and I rode up and down the hill for probably 3 or 4, 5 years total. I'm not sure. Press the bar.